Are you here? Go closer to him. I can see clearly. Okay. The goal of market is allocating resources. The three key allocation decisions. All economies are changing, and all economies are changing. It means all countries are changing. That's what it means. And they all have to answer three fundamental economic questions. So for each economy, these questions are fundamental and they have to answer them. What to produce, how to produce it, who is to receive this products produced. So I'm going to explain each one. What to produce, we're talking about the kind of products that has to be produced. So in our economy, what are our strengths? What resources do we have? So these resources we have will determine the kind of product we can produce. What to produce, how to produce it. So we need equipment, we need machinery, we need technical know-how to produce these things. So the process through which we are able to produce these things is what we call how to produce it. Now, who are those people that need these products? Consumers. Whom to produce to? Consumers. So I think that is clear. So they said, these questions arise because I already said that, so we move on. So we go to different economic systems. So they said there are three main economic systems. One is a planned economic system. An economy which operates as a planned economy means governments takes charge. So we call it a planned economy. This is what they said. They said an economy which operates a planned economic system is called the planned, centrally planned, command or collectivist economy. It's an economy in which the state or government makes decisions about what to produce, how to produce it, and who receives it. So we call it a planned economy because the fundamental economic questions are answered by the government of that economy. So in an economy that is having a planned system, means that government is in charge on what to produce, how to produce, who receives this product. That's why we call it a planned economy. Government decides on what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce to. Planned economy system. Is it clear? What else do they say here? Okay. Government, the state gives instruction. We said that already. So we'll go on. We go to the market economy system. For the market economy system, they said an economy which operates a market economy system is known as a market economy or a free enterprise economy. It is one in which buyers, also known as consumers, determine what is produced. They signal their preferences to sellers through the price mechanism. So for the market economy or the free market, it's determined by the price mechanisms. That's the demand for and the supply of the product. So consumers decide what to produce. Why? Because they signal, they talk about what they want, they demand for something. They demand for goods, they demand for services. So businesses will produce these things that are demanded in the economy. That's why we call it the price mechanism, which determines what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce to. So in the market economy system, government intervention is minimal. Not that government is not going to intervene, but the intervention of government is minimal. Government does not really decide. But why do we have government here? Because government owns the state. Government owns the country. So there's no economy that would be independent. There's no. So even if it's practicing a free market economy, in that country, government still takes charge because government is a system that controls what happens in an economy. It's an institution that decides on what happens, on rules, on regulations, on laws of that country. So there's no country without government. So that's why even a free market would still have minimal government intervention. I think it's clear. So we don't call it a free market because there's no government intervention, but there's minimal government intervention. Clear? So here, private sector firms decide how to produce the products consumers want to buy. Some firms, for instance, steel firms may employ large amounts of capital relative to labor. They are said to be capital intensive. In this economy, some countries are capital intensive, some companies are capital intensive, some are labor intensive. We call them capital intensive because they use more of equipment, they use more of machines. We call it labor intensive because they use more of workers. It is not capital intensive because it doesn't use workers. It uses. There's no company would exist without workers. But the use of equipment, the use of machines are more than workers. That's why we call it capital intensive. And for the labor intensive, they are labor intensive, like schools are labor intensive, but it doesn't mean they don't use machines. They use laptops, they use photocopier, but the use of machines are not much like the use of people. That's why we call it labor intensive. I think it's clear. So we go down. The role of the price mechanism. Are you there?
Yes.
In the market economy system, resources move automatically as a result of changes in price. So for the price in the market system, resources. So the role of the price mechanism is that in the market economy system, resources move automatically as a result of changes in price. So it's a price mechanism. As a result of that, whatever happens in that system, it's based on price. So if price continues to rise, things change automatically because everything is determined by what? The price. Because we said it is what? Price mechanism. So the demand for a product, if it increases, it would have been as a result of a fall in price.
No.
Do you get the point? Yes. A fall in price.
Demand rises.
If demand increases, it would have meant that there's a fall in price. Because the law of demand says the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded.
Yeah. But if the product is
Listen, it's still price mechanism. I'm going to explain something now.
Yes.
I said if demand increases in an economy, basically it's because there's a fall in price. But what happens afterwards? Because it's a price mechanism, businesses would understand that a lot of people are demanding for their products. Yes or no? They increase the price. So it's both what price mechanism. The supply will be determined by the price. The demand will be determined by the price. But for consumers, we increase the price. We tend to buy more because the price of the product is reducing. But as soon as the demand increases, firms would also what? Respond to the market by rising or by increasing the price. So it's still what? Price mechanism.
It's like taking the customer's loyalty. So
Then they increase the price.
yes.
Do you get the point now? So either ways, it's still what? Price. Okay, we'll continue. So I think what I just said is clear now. Okay. So look at what they did. It said resources switch from products that are becoming less popular to those which are becoming more popular. Consumer signals to producers there are changes in demand through the price that they are prepared to pay for different products. So increase in demand, rise in price, rise in profit, firms produce more, hire more workers, use more capital for land, and land happens. Decrease in demand, fall in price, fall in profit, firms produces less, reduce number of workers, capital, and labor employed. Do you see it here? If there's an increase in demand of a product, prices will rise. Because as soon as prices increase, as soon as the demand increases, if consumers continue to buy, they are signaling to the business that they are willing to pay the price. Because that is the market price. There's what we call equilibrium price. Equilibrium price is the price of agreement between demand and supply. The price of agreement between the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied. At that equilibrium price, there's what we call the market clearing price. That means with that price, product will be sold. It is considered, it is an assumption that whatever that is being sold in that economy will be sold. Everything will be sold because people are willing to pay such price. So if 100 products are produced, 100 products will be sold. That's why we call it market clearing price. Do you get it?
Yes.
So consumers will signal to businesses that they are willing to pay. Okay. So consumers give signals to the business that, oh, they are buying more, right? Let's increase the price. But how are they going to be able to increase the price? They're not just going to increase the price immediately. They reduce output. They reduce supply. Then the product becomes scarce. As a result, prices will rise. Because at that point in time, consumers are willing to pay any amount for that product. So price will not just increase immediately. Price will increase based on the signal from consumers. So businesses understand the signal. So they reduce production at that point in time to ensure that consumers are starving for the product. So they want to buy. So whatever the price is, let me just have it. So prices start increasing. And we consumers, because the product is scarce, we want to order more, we want to buy as much as we can at that price, believing that the price will continue to increase. That is our thought, that if we don't buy more now, the price will increase in the future. So let's buy more now. So as time goes on, businesses will continue to increase the price because we have the mentality that price will continue to rise. We never thought about reduction in price. So that is what they are saying here. So increase in demand will increase the price because as prices increases, businesses will make more profit. As a result of that, they will employ more workers to meet up with the demand of consumers. Now that people are buying, we need more output. And how are we going to be able to get this output? By employing more workers. Yes, sir. Well, if there's a decrease in demand, what happens? The price will fall because at that point in time, consumers are not buying. So it's a signal also. It's also a signal that, oh, we are not buying. So when people are not buying your product, what are you supposed to do? You reduce the price. If not, you're not going to sell. You're not even selling anymore. So if the demand for your product is reducing, the only way out to respond is to reduce the price. Maybe they will start buying again. Maybe that could attract them because we said the law of demand. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So if the demand for your product is reducing, like the apples here, there's a decrease in the demand for apples. What happens? The price of apple will fall. And at that point in time, profit will also fall because businesses will not be making profit as they used to make. What happens? They will produce less. They won't have the motive to produce more because they are not making more profit. What happens to the numbers of workers? The numbers of workers would fall. So that is the situation here. That is about price mechanism. If the demand for product increases, it's a signal to the firms. They will increase their production because they will be able to increase more their profits. As a result, they'll be able to invest more on equipment. They'll be able to invest more on workers to increase their output. Because if they can't increase their output, it means they are not going to meet the demand for consumers. They want to meet the demand. So to meet the demand, they have to employ more equipment and more workers. I think it's clear. Yes. So we'll go down. Okay, now changes in resources allocation in the market economy. The price mechanism provides an incentive for producers to respond to changes in market conditions. So if consumers want more of a product, they will be willing to pay more for it. If consumers want more of the product, it means they will be able to pay whatever price it is because we want more. Then firms will respond by increasing the price. Clear? Yes. The higher price offered will encourage firms to produce the product in larger quantities, as then the firms make more profit. The more they can produce, the more profit they will be making. Indeed, the use of resources is changing all the time in response to changes in consumer demand and cost of production. Market equilibrium moves to market disequilibrium and back to market equilibrium again. The demand increases, but the supply is less. That is disequilibrium. But as soon as firms are able to produce more, it goes back to market equilibrium. Do you understand? If demand increases and firms are unable to supply, there's shortage in the market. If there's shortage, it is market disequilibrium.
And the price will rise.
If there's surplus, it's also market disequilibrium. There should be equilibrium. So shortage or surplus brings about disequilibrium. That is the point. Is it clear? Yes. Any question about that? So we have the multiple choice questions. What are the three questions faced by all economists?
What to produce, how to produce, who receives it? Three.
What to produce, how to produce, and who receives it?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Thank you, B. So we'll go to question 2. What encourages firms to produce what consumers demand?
Consumers demand.
The The chance to earn a high profit.
The chance to experience high unit cost of production, the desire to attack new firms in the industry, no. The desire to keep revenue as low as possible. That's A.
It's A.
It's A.
Muhammad, you said A. Why are you changing your mind?
Just checking them.
No, Muhammad, you said A and you are changing your mind. The only reason why firms will be willing to produce more is because they can maximize profit.
Yes.
It's A. Then question 3. How are resources allocated in the market economy?
By the price mechanism.
By the price mechanism. Yeah. So the fourth question, what is meant by market forces?
Market forces. The interaction of
Demand and supply.
Yeah.
The interaction between demand and supply. That's the market forces. So we are clear.
Demand.
So we can stop here, right?
Yes.
Any question, please?
No.
Clear, right?